I don't see myself. Camera's on. Can anyone else see me there? There we go. Oh, that was good music. It was getting. I never heard that far into the music, into the intro. Actually, that's my first time listening to the actual intro song. Well, thank you very much for coming. This is Politically Correcting with Jose Pio. Let's take a moment again. Let's make sure we fix those algorithms on Facebook and YouTube. Make sure you hit that like button. Comment whenever you have a question, whenever you have a statement to make. Let's make sure that you are fully involved. At the same time, get your drinks ready. Gentlemen, appreciate y'all being here. Let's make some history tonight.
Let's do it again.
All right. Again, this is a podcast for men out there and women who, my camera's still not working. Having technical difficulties. It's all right. We're going to keep talking here.
Yeah, man, to have good for the camera, man. That's all it is.
To have conversations about the things that you talk about on a daily basis, over drinks, over food, with your family, with your friends. We just happen to have a podcast all about that. So today I want to start with a quick little monologue here about discipline. I think people, they sleep on discipline. Discipline is why Asian Americans are kicking our ass. Straight kicking our ass. All right. Let's be completely honest here. Compare their levels of education, compare their martial arts levels, their income levels, their health, every facet of life. Compare them to the narrative of the white man, the white counterpart, who's always a white devil, right? Which always the Satan of comparisons now is the white man, Dan.
Ha! That's me.
They are exceeding their fellow Americans in almost every possible way. And the narrative out there is always that people are being held down. People of color are being held down. Now you see, it's not just people of color, it's BIPOC. Have you ever heard of that?
Oh, yeah.
BIPOC.
BIPOC?
Yeah.
Black and indigenous.
People of color.
Oh,
Black and indigenous people of color.
really?
Because they want to eliminate the Asian community from their narrative.
Isn't that redundant, though?
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So people feel as though they have more value in life than what they actually produce in society. So how much is your skill set actually valued at? You know, when I was doing mortgages, I always had a Uber driver that would come in and say, hey, I'm ready to buy a house. And the only thing that did was Uber driving, which is fine. I'm not hating on Uber drivers by any means whatsoever. But if that's your main source of income, your job is to drive someone from point A to point B. Your skill set is negligible. It's going to go away at some point. You're going to have an Uber driver that is a Tesla car in the future that's going to be able to drive you without looking, without paying attention, without having to wear a mask, without having to go to court for workers' rights. What you need to do is work on yourself to create more value. Bring more value to the marketplace. You are paid according to the value that you bring to the marketplace. Not every job is meant to be a career. Let's be completely honest. So all those people who are fighting for the $15 an hour McDonald's burger flipping job, you are now being replaced by a mechanical flipping arm.
That's all a sham anyways, because they don't want to work even at $15 an hour.
The computers don't even want to work.
That's right.
I welcome that one.
You welcome that. Well, I don't welcome it because when I go to the supermarket and I have to check myself out, I feel like I deserve a paycheck at that point.
But it's McDonald's, man. Like, you shouldn't even be valuing a burger at McDonald's anyway. Like, that should be that's the last.
Well, the value is a time.
Yeah, time. Right. Again, the time, and then your stomach, and then the regret. 10 minutes later, you like,
I live my life almost solely on regret.
I just paid that robot for that Big Mac.
You eat Big Mac still?
Man, that's their number one burger, isn't it?
No, I go with chicken nuggets.
Nah, you do the plastic nuggets.
Oh, I'm sure. Pink slime nuggets. Pink slime nuggets. Yeah, I want to bring on, this is our guest, our distinguished guest for this evening. I want to jump right into this because I really, truly feel that this is a huge, momentous occasion for us to be together on the We the People podcast network with a case manager of constitutional law at Hogan Willig Attorneys at Law. Tip of the spear. That's what you guys are. It's a tip of the spear for rights against COVID violations. James, thank you so much for coming on this evening. You have been doing an extreme service for those in our community in terms of fighting for our rights. So first of all, I want to thank you. Second of all, I want to toast to you.
Salud.
For fighting for our rights, because that is what we are here. That's what makes us America great, is our individual freedoms and rights. So I appreciate that.
I appreciate you having me on. It's an honor and a pleasure to be on with you, Jose. Looking forward to it.
Well, I mean, this is past the normal lawyer hours, I would think. I think you guys, I just automatically assume you guys work banker hours.
Yeah, not at our firm. We're maniacs. We're pretty much around the clock for this stuff right now. It's we view it as really being at war right now, and there's a lot going on. It's critical, and we are literally around the clock fighting for freedom, as you alluded to.
That's fantastic, because there's a lot of people out there who they don't see it the same way. Right? Does anyone else get that? Do you hear that out there? Because I feel as though I fight for the freedoms and our constitutional rights, and I get lambasted on social media and in the media.
People get tired of hearing about freedom. A lot of people, it seems like they're more, comfortable with being safe, right? They feel safe if they do what they're told. They feel safe if they follow just everything they see on, social media. Right. I think the setup was a long time ago when everybody started doing those challenges. Right. Everybody, you see a challenge come through and everybody and their mama want to do it. Right.
Milk crate challenge.
Right. So you you feel out of place if, well, dang, my family can't do that. We don't even got the cell phone camera footage like these people do. And everybody is just doing robots and, all types of stuff. So this has been in place for a long time, man. It seems like to me.
Well, there's a fight against our freedom, and we saw that on 9/11, and it's been 20 years.
Yep.
The 20-year anniversary was just this past weekend, and it always brings back certain memories of where you were, what you were doing. I was in the military at that time. I was in Korea, and we had a complete shutdown of the entire military base. And at the same time, the powers that be were coming against going against trying to grab our freedoms. There was a time when we used to use our computers, use our cell phones, and not automatically assume that the government was watching our every move. Do you remember that time? You're young, James. You remember those days?
It's hard to remember. The BlackBerry days.
The BlackBerry. Man, that BlackBerry, that full freaking keyboard.
Yeah.
That was amazing. They stuck with that for a long time. Well after there was touch screens and everything. It was fantastic. But talk to us, please, about the cases that you have so far. I've seen you when you guys were working with Veneto Pizzeria down, or not Pizzeria. Good Lord, I didn't mean to disrespect Don Schwartz out there. But Veneto Pizza, which is downtown on East Avenue, a fantastic pizza place. They have really good pizza. Actually have 2 locations. I've been to both of them. They're amazing pizza, and they are an amazing Patriot-owned company who respect the freedoms that we have and don't require you to show a COVID vaccine passport.
No, Don is not interested in asking for people's papers when they come in to eat at his restaurant. You're right. We've been at it for a long time, and it started with our firm. We were the first firm in New York State that was deemed essential. As an essential business at that time.
The first attorneys to be
in the state.
That's crazy.
And that was crazy, whatever that meant at the time. But we had no intentions of shutting our door. We weren't going to stop working. And the Attorney General didn't want that. It got to the point where they had unmarked vehicles in our parking lot at the law firm in Amherst, taking down license plates. They wanted to know where the attorneys were going, what people were doing, why they couldn't work from home, why we had to open our doors. And so we sued the attorney general and we sued the governor,
Which attorney general?
Letitia James.
Just want to make sure that was out there because she showed up in my district today
Really?
or yesterday. I'm not quite sure when she did it with Senator Cooney, and
Jeremy?
I didn't even get the invite. I'm so upset by that.
Really?
I'm
Jeremy
so
was in
upset
that
by
area. He was marketing hard in the Maplewood district. I saw his signs everywhere, Mr. Cooney.
So he showed up with Letitia James in my
Ooh.
district over on Lyle Avenue.
Really?
There were blazing masks all over the
Oh,
street.
gosh.
Littering. is what-
Literally.
Yeah.
Wow.
So let's talk about the wearing mask out in public. I know that I know Lavelle has his own feelings about that. I'm sure Dan does as well.
I've got
See,
some.
I'm warming up because I'm interested to hear the behind the scenes of the wars when you yourself, I'm pretty sure when you saw these, just like me, these mandates for wearing a mask and you got to wear it inside
You're
know the
chomping
law,
at the bits.
you know the Constitution, you like, what the
I mean, I don't know if
Yeah.
you guys saw the governor today. The governor announced today a mandate that took effect today. They're going to mask 2-year-olds. All daycares in the state of New York are now required to mask 2-year-olds. I mean, it is sick.
Good luck.
Sick.
I've got one. No way.
You're not gonna mask your child?
Even if I wanted to,
Yeah.
there's no way that
How you gonna do it?
There's no way she's keeping it on. She's got her finger everywhere.
It's ridiculous.
No, it doesn't make any sense at all.
So what can you tell us how can they even fathom instituting these ridiculous laws to tell someone that they have to, as a parent, you have to put a mask on your 2-year-old? How?
Well, first of all, there's no laws. I mean, nothing's been passed in the
Mandates,
legislature.
right?
Yeah,
It's
these
mandates.
are mandates. These are Department of Health.
So what's the
mandates.
let's start there then. What's the difference between a mandate and a law?
A law, in theory, with a law, it would be debated. They would bring in experts. They would look at studies. And when you brought in all this evidence, the legislature would say not only do masks arguably not even work, but the damage that they cause far outweighs any benefit that they could possibly provide to the kids. And so with the process of the debate and the legislature going back and forth and bringing in experts and talking about it, they would, you would think, come to a conclusion that the masks don't work or not going to pass the law. With the mandate, you've got executive fiat. You've got essentially a dictator, one person that's saying, I'm going to do this and I'm going to implement this and impose this upon every child in the state of New York, regardless of what the community thinks, the people think. And it's why we're in the mess that we're in today.
Is it authoritarian?
Absolutely.
Wow.
I mean, how can it be anything but that? I mean, you've got essentially one person, in this case, maybe Zucker at the Department of Health, that's saying to every daycare, every school, that if a kid is 2 or older, they've got to wear a mask for 6 hours a day, 7 hours a day, 8 hours a day. It's nuts. And as you said, it's practically not even possible.
It's not.
It's not.
No.
But let alone,
I can't even keep a mask on.
No.
I can't personally keep a mask
I'm
on.
almost 30. And
Listen,
I can't.
I am a huge
2-year-olds.
thorn in my school teacher's side, right? I told the teacher when I, picked my son up today from school, I said, I can't wait for the teacher to call me to tell me about my son and him not keeping his mask over his nose. I'm just waiting for that phone call. I'm waiting for it.
Like they did with Shannon Joy.
It hits home with us.
You guys were there.
I was
You
here
guys
yesterday in Fairport.
Oh, you were? Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Dang, I just heard that.
Absolutely. We were here yesterday, and God bless Shannon Joy. All the charges were dropped.
A martyr.
Of course.
She's a martyr for freedom at this
Yes.
point.
Applaud her.
Applaud to Shannon Joy. Such a shout out because she
What a win yesterday for her.
Yeah.
but it should have been so easy. It should have been so simple.
Mhm.
What was it that they actually ticketed her for? Because they took her out in cuffs.
Trespass.
Trespassing
Violation, criminal trespass.
at a school board meeting.
Yeah. For apparently, the argument is that the mask had fell below her nose. It's supposed to be at the bridge of her nose, and it dropped below the nostrils. And so because of that, she was arrested and taken out in handcuffs. And thankfully, justice was served yesterday. All charges were dropped.
The part that really gets to me though is that I know she's a proponent of law enforcement.
Absolutely.
right? You would think that someone who is sitting there saying, we back you, we defend you, we are here for you. And then after all that, like you're at a school board meeting trying to stand up for your rights to say, look, this is not okay, whether it's the masks, whether it's the requirement of vaccines for the teachers, or whether it's CRT.
Like she was wearing her mask.
She was wearing her mask. She just didn't have it
all the way up.
All the way
Up
up to the
here.
bridge of her nose. I mean, it was ridiculous. And they
Zip up.
targeted her, they singled her out, and it was a message to her that they didn't like what she was doing. And,
It was a message. You're absolutely right. Bring Austin, do me a favor. Bring up the picture of the Met Gala with the masks.
Oh,
Let's get I want to see you guys' input on this picture or these pictures, these two pictures of this. Tell me this is not ridiculous of having the elite they're out there on these dresses, equal rights for women, and you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plus women behind you, masked up, and you're out there free facing it.
looks like a scene out of Hunger Games.
You took it.
Oh, did I? Oh, my bad.
I'm
My
already
bad. I
there.
mean,
Yeah,
it's,
jump on that.
I
I've
mean,
seen that movie.
look at AOC. She looks crazy.
Yeah.
And how could you follow a charlatan like that? What has she brought to the overall discussion of freedom and empowerment for women? Like she's not said one thing that is empowering for female. I would never let my daughter listen to AOC.
Ooh,
Never.
Not
Never.
on TikTok?
Never. My daughter's smarter than her right now. And she's on her way to college. And my eighth grader is as well. You know, she doesn't offer anything for my kids. Sorry.
So
The hypocrisy is just
Stunning.
stunning.
Dan, what do you see when you see this? Because it automatically draws my attention to the fact that we have another woman on her knees putting a dress together for a $30,000 plus
Oh, yeah.
ticket
Per
to-
plate.
per plate, and she's wearing a dress that says "tax the rich."
FYI,
Well,
rich folks don't care about them taxes.
They don't
either.
care.
Yeah.
It never works.
No.
I mean, Lavelle said it. It's the Hunger Games.
Yeah.
It's come to reality.
And that's what I think that's the division that people aren't actually seeing, is that there are the elites that sit there and say, do as I say, not as I do.
Absolutely.
Right.
And we see it in action and we are okay with that. Like there's people out there who's okay with it. They're over there fixing their dress. They're over there taking pictures of them.
Mhm.
You're trying to take selfies with them. How is this okay? Is it legal to mandate that people wear masks outside or even indoors? James, talk about that, because I see what's happening in Australia, where they are telling people at the beach to mask up or they're going to get fined. In Australia, and mind you, that's not America, but
Shit show over there.
Thank
It's
God.
a supposedly a Western democracy, and it's a mess. What's happening in Australia? It should be a warning sign to people here of what could potentially come. It's very, very scary. It's a very slippery slope. If you can allow this type of stuff to mask, and you see people and they go along with it, they're
God.
wearing masks walking down the sidewalk by themselves alone, or people wearing masks mowing their lawn.
Yeah.
I saw it the other day. I
It's
couldn't
crazy fear.
help
and
but
it's
laugh.
fear, and that's
Couldn't help
what
but
it
laugh.
is. It's the fear, and it is. It's so evil in my mind what the media has done, because people think they're going to go out and they're going to die, and the reality is that they're not. But it is fear, and our founders warned us about it.
They sure did.
They absolutely warned us about it. That if you give up liberty under the guise of security, you'll lose both. And
Well,
you
it's-
deserve neither.
It's Benjamin Franklin, right?
It's-
Those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety.
And they'll lose both. And
Lose both.
that's what
Yeah.
happens. And the founders warned about us, and it is prescient for today. It's the fear that gets people to do things that are unthinkable.
Do they not teach history in school
No.
anymore?
No,
Public
No,
schools?
of course
Or
not.
is it only CRT? What is it?
That's right.
How do we not see this? How is it that the only people that see this and they term us automatically as far right or Trumpers, and they have no idea what's about?
Conspiracy
So
theorists.
we know that it's our freedom,
Right.
it's our right to not be required to wear
I
the
think people
diaper
are
on our
waking up,
face.
though. I think people are waking up. I mean,
I wish that
Are
was
they?
true, man.
Are
I go
they?
through my, and I'm sorry. I know folks probably on, who's listening or on my friends list as well. I'll be looking at my feed. I'll be like, yo, these people are dumb. Like I saw
LaVelle's
one.
not
I
talking
saw
about you,
one
though.
comment.
He's not talking about you. It's the other person.
Hey, if the shoe fits, damn it. I saw one person. Oh my God, it's not that hard. Just wear a mask and this will be over. I said, you're dumb. Real dumb.
Remember 2 weeks to flatten the curve.
Yeah,
Yeah,
2
going on 2
weeks
years.
is 2
Yeah,
years
right.
now,
good point.
And to me,
Take a little.
so James, I want to ask you, so when this was going down, do you think it was like deliberate? Because at the end of the day, as far as government is probably 10 steps ahead of whatever it is they're trying to implement.
Mhm.
They had to know that civil rights, civil liberties were at stake, and the court system was going to get jammed with all these lawsuits, but you couldn't file a lawsuit in the beginning. So everything was jammed up. Everything was virtual. Everything was all new. They got like a freaking, I don't know how many month or week head start on just tyranny, right?
Yeah, well said. I mean, it's it is amazing to me. There, in theory, in this country, we've got the separation of powers with the legislature, the judiciary, and the executive branch, and that changed with COVID-19. Everything is done at the executive level. It is all being done by fiat. It is just dictate after dictate after dictate. The courts have been largely absent. The legislature has been almost exclusively absent.
Disregarded. Pushed aside.
I mean, there's none of this is law.
Yeah.
This is all executive fiat. Now,
when you say fiat, though, explain that. When you say executive fiat,
without the legislature, without debate, without the input of the public, without the input of the constituents, the people, in theory, should have elected these people to represent their interests and to do what's in the best interest of the people. That's not happening. You have generally one person, whether it be the president of the United States or the governor of New York, that are putting out mandates and dictates that are impacting the liberties and the lives of all of their constituents without any debate, without any discussion, without any input from the people. It's just mandate after mandate after mandate, and it's nuts. I mean, it's got to stop.
Austin,
Splits is 6 feet.
pull up the article that was posted about the separation of powers here. We see that the judicial powers, the B, did actually step up in New York. We have that article there. It is where they stated that you can, in fact, stop the mandate to say that for religious exemptions,
Right.
they should. There we go. Judge rules New York State can't force Christian health. It shouldn't be even Christian. It's just religious healthcare workers to get COVID vaccine. This is exactly what you fight for, right?
Absolutely. And we'll be filing actions in state court and federal court within the next week going after the mandate. What happened in the Northern District of New York, Justice Hurd, who got a temporary restraining order, essentially blocking the mandate or the religious aspect of it, saying that you can't not allow the religious exemptions.
Right.
So they're allowing the religious exemptions to go forward. It's a small win. It's a win. A win is a win. There's been very few wins
Yeah.
anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world. In
How
fact,
did this happen in New York, though? How did a judicial court actually step up in New York to step up for freedoms here?
Well, I think you had a justice that was doing his job, and it's
Finally.
very, very rare.
Was it a different? Was it a different county? What was it? A more red-leaning county? That's why it was more conservative, or what?
Yeah, it was the Northern District. It was
Okay.
it came out of Utica, and
Shout out to Utica
shout out
for
to
being
Utica.
freedom lovers.
Whoa,
Yes.
well, I do know in the hood of Utica, it gets real. So,
I don't know anything about that.
oh, I got a lot of friends from Utica, boy. Utica is the trap.
Utica is a
Utica is the trap. Shout out to my boys from Utica. They know who they are. My man Mike Ski, he's from Utica. But yeah, Utica is real, man. Don't get it twisted.
Well, what about the employers that still won't accept that? I got Lorraine here saying my employer won't take our religious exemption. Has to be signed by a non-profit church from a pastor. Is that how it works, or how
Yeah.
it's supposed to work?
Well, I mean, employers have discretion, particularly private employers. We've encouraged everybody to file the religious exemptions, file the medical exemptions if they apply. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Certainly go that route. But we're hoping that our lawsuit We're going to try and stop the mandate for everybody. In our state action, we're arguing that it's illegal the way they rolled out the mandate.
Mhm.
They didn't fight. They're essentially claiming an emergency. They're using emergency powers when there is no state of emergency in New York. The governor, our prior governor Cuomo, came out and ended the state of emergency. Yet they're still issuing these executives using emergency powers. So we're challenging at the state level, and then federally, we're saying even if you passed a law, you can't do it. You can't infringe on people's bodily autonomy.
Right.
People have a right to bodily autonomy. It's a fundamental right. It's a constitutional right. And even if you passed a law, which didn't happen and probably won't happen here, but even if you did, you still can't do it. You can't infringe on someone's bodily autonomy, someone's fundamental constitutional right. There was a saying that was blasted all over the country: "My body, my choice." I think everybody remembers that. You haven't heard that anywhere. That's gone.
Right.
But at one point, people believed that with your body, you had a choice. But it seems to me there's nothing more fundamental than what is injected into your body, and to force that onto somebody, it's the bedrock of our country to protect the right to say no.
That blows my mind. That blows my mind that we're mandating some synthetic material when all the new evidence shows that if you had COVID naturally, your natural immunity is, I forget what it was, like 37% better than if you would have just, or 37 times better than if you got the synthetic one.
You get the jab.
Right.
Yep.
And if it was up to Austin's granddad, we would have no beards up here. So I want to make sure we understand that we don't.
Yeah.
So shout out to Austin's granddad. I hear he's, well, you and him and your brother are big fans of the show. I'm gonna go ahead and say that. I have no idea if they are. Or not.
They should be.
They can be.
I mean,
They are now.
Just for that. So just for that, what you said alone, Jose. Let's say you just talk to the average Joe Schmo who's literally watching Don Lemon feed them a whole bunch of Don Lemon, "You're all gonna die if you don't get the vaccine" bullshit every 5 minutes, right? What do you say to that person that really believes what they believe, right? I get it. Like, you're afraid, and those who have passed from COVID. I personally know people who have died from this situation, and I've seen it with the situation, and I've seen it firsthand.
Yeah.
No one deserves to see their loved one through a Zoom video, right, as they pass away. That right there in itself should have been challenged on all levels of just living as a human being. To die alone inside of a hospital room with strangers is un-American, is inhumane, and it should never, ever happen again. So how do you explain these situations to people? Understand the human element of life. It is, there's nothing greater than that. Like, how do you explain it to these folks that just, what doesn't matter? I'm afraid, I don't want to die, and all that other stuff. Like, how do you kick freedom to somebody like that?
It's tough. I mean, 6 million people die every year from hunger in this world. I mean, a lot more than are dying from COVID. I mean, you could argue that the government should come in and force everybody to grow a garden and feed, and you could save a lot of lives. But it's that fear that causes people to do things that are irrational and illogical, and they give up their freedoms under the guise of protecting against this fear of dying. People are afraid they're going to die. It's real.
Yep.
They knew us, man.
Well, and again, to even say on top of that, I think it's like 1.5 million people die from diarrhea.
Oh, shoot.
Diarrhea diseases.
That's right.
Every year. And I'm sitting there saying, what are you doing for that? Anyone that says you need to take the vaccine for other people. And I sit there and say, what have you done for those with diarrhea problems?
Shout out to Pepto-Bismol, because I swear to God, if I was mandated to drink Pepto-Bismol,
That's right. That's a
you'll be okay. I'll be okay.
not
with
only
it.
diarrhea.
I don't know. I can't do Pep. Give me the
bad.
pill, man. Pepto-Bismol is like,
Have you ever had the tablet where it makes your tongue black?
Oh.
nah. See, no.
Bro, if you've never woken up to a black tongue in your life, it's the scariest thing ever. At my wedding, there was some friends that showed up. Woke up to a black tongue with the Pepto-Bismol. That's completely off topic here, but
say,
just because of that diarrhea stat.
that diarrhea of the tongue.
Diarrhea is more dangerous than what we got right now.
Well,
What you have plus is, more.
I want to say too, most people, maybe anecdotally, that are anti-mandate aren't anti-vaccine.
Right.
There's
That's
a
a good
big,
point.
there's a big difference
Yeah.
there.
And even in our case, we're not arguing that people that want to get vaccinated can't go out and get vaccinated.
No,
Nor
go
are we
for it.
stopping them.
Anybody can do it. And same with masks. I mean, I think it's crazy, but if people want to go out and wear masks, then God bless them, let them wear masks. But the idea that you're going to mandate it on individuals and take away their constitutional liberties, their freedom, and force something that truly is unknown. At this point, we don't know what the long term. There's a new technology, and you're going to force it on somebody. That's the part that's crazy. And we're going to show a judge. Hopefully, these people have a logical and rational reason to say no.
Well, your disinformation might have just got us canceled.
Oh,
Well,
Wait.
that's funny because there's this commercial that's on all of the major radio stations that it's talking about the COVID vaccine, and it's talking about how it brings up all the questions. It's got people talking right at the beginning, and it goes, well, we don't know the long-term effects, or well, I read this thing online, and I'm like, yeah, okay, that all makes sense. We don't.
Right.
But they're trying to use it to discredit those questions.
Double speak.
Well, all they want to
Yeah.
do is discredit people. And is there anything that we can do against the powers to be, the big tech, in terms of discrediting us or censoring us from a civil rights perspective? Is there anything there that provides us any kind of, because I know President Trump, because I like to respect people's positions there. President Trump was suing big tech for limiting, again, the freaking Taliban have Twitter, but our previous president Trump doesn't have that. What happens there? Is there anything in history that can ever tell you where when big tech silence you and they say you are spreading disinformation? Have you covered anything like that? Have you done anything for anybody? Because I feel like that's just a losing battle. And I feel like there can't be really anyone out there that's willing to put up their money to say, yeah, let's go up against these big, huge tech companies.
It's a mess. I mean, in theory, we've got this thing called the First Amendment, this idea of freedom of speech. But I can tell you, anecdotally, our law firm, Hogan Willig, when we started taking on the vaccine mandates, Facebook went after us.
Oh, I'm sure.
They changed us from a 5-star rated firm. You can look at it today. We're apparently a 1-star rated firm. They changed our ratings down to 1. Corey, the owner of the firm, was livid. I mean, he was in the process of drafting a law. He still is in the process of drafting a lawsuit to go after Facebook. They started censoring. They took all our positive comments and they deleted them. They took our rating and put it down to 1 star. This is real. This is today.
Yeah.
And this is our law firm's Facebook page. And they went on and they blasted us. And so it's a mess. I mean, they've gone after us, so we know it. We've experienced it firsthand. What's happening with the censorship?
Yeah, they came after me. I'm an elected official. I've already posted ads on Facebook, where you put money towards, promoting a post.
Right.
I've done it for the past going on 2 years, but now I can't. It won't let me. It says I'm not authorized. And the last one I was trying to do was a post from 9/11, just basically showing some love to our military veterans, our first responders, and the families that lost their loved ones. That's all. I was just shout out to 9/11 and shout out to family. The generic stuff there.
They won't let you do
He's
that.
doing too much.
Wouldn't let me do it. They
Too much niceness from you.
Yeah, it was way too much. Way too much. I got a question here from Lorraine as well. Will the lawsuit be able to return the salary and benefits that were lost? So for those who lost their job,
Good question.
would they be able to countersue for previous lost wages and then get their jobs back? What happens in that case?
So,
Or what would you do for that? should I
Yeah.
say?
So for us right now, we're not focusing on any monetary damages. We're solely focused on stopping the mandate, allowing these individuals to keep their jobs.
Right.
Is it likely that there will be all sorts of additional lawsuits that arise, whether it's wrongful termination or people suing for lost wages or the employers that are trying to take their earned benefits that they shouldn't have taken? Those things will absolutely come out, and that'll be fleshed out here in the future. And we'll see what happens. I mean, this thing changes almost by the day, by the hour. It seems like every day it becomes something different gets thrown at us. But right now, our sole focus, we feel like it cheapens it a little bit to try and go after money. So we're really focused on just stopping the mandate, keeping these people working, because September 27th is when that date's coming. And come the 27th, if we're not successful and nothing changes, there are thousands of healthcare workers in the state of New York that are going to be out of a job.
And we've seen that hospitals are stopping from being able to even have kids at the hospital because they don't have anybody there to.
They're
Poor
short-staffed.
child.
It's a mess. Logistically, I don't know how they can pull it off.
That's crazy.
We're hearing it every day. We're hearing nursing homes, hospitals. There's a hospital in Cattaraugus County that announced today that they're going to shut down. They're saying, they're telling people, we don't have the staff. If you eliminate 25 or 35 or 40% of our staff, we will shut down. We can't. We're already short-staffed as it is.
Right. Right.
You're going to get rid of all the unvaccinated staff, and we're going to have to shut down. Logistically, it could potentially collapse the healthcare system in New York. It's a mess.
Yep.
See, you know, when you say stuff like that, it makes it hard to follow up with another question, but it's like, it's just blatant tyranny. There's no other way for you to describe it. Like, how can you not say that that's not slave meant? Right? Like, if you don't do this, you don't get that.
Yeah.
That's like telling
At the very least, blackmail.
right. Are you saying we're 3-year-olds? Right. If you don't eat all of your broccoli, you can't get this cake. If you don't get this jab, you don't get paid.
That's what it is.
Yep.
And people are in some ways enslaved to the dollar. They need these
In
jobs.
some ways, in every way.
In every way.
In every way. It's the American way.
Right.
It's the American way.
So it is a tactic, and some people will cave and give in because they have no choice. I mean, this is destroying lives. It's destroying families. It's a mess.
Is that arguable in court though? Like if I don't know exactly how a lawyer litigates and brings up points in the court of law that you're trying to break common sense to 6 strangers. How can you, or 12 strangers? How can you?
Well, in this case, it's going to be generally to one judge.
Oh, really? Oh, that's good. Okay.
James, I'm going to answer that because I've watched enough movies and shows about being a lawyer. Continue. Sorry.
It's we have, our job is to convince one judge that he has to stand up and say, I got to put a pause to this. That these people have logical and rational reasons to want to say no, and I can't throw them out on the street. I can't take away the livelihood of all of these healthcare workers. These are doctors, these are nurse practitioners, these are RNs.
But can you speak to the emotional value? Because I feel like that's not going to work. So what is it that you actually speak to? How do you present it?
Well, these judges, and that part of the problem is that people don't have the time to read the science. They're not reading the peer-reviewed studies. They're not going through, and they're just reading talking points that are put out on CNN or MSNBC. So
that's my everyday.
Yeah.
It's my everyday.
Yeah. So you got to, first of all, you got to get a judge that's going to actually read the papers. That's a problem. And then you got to convince them to go against the grain, because the truth of the matter is there hasn't been a judge really anywhere in the world that has stood up to the executive's ability to issue these mandates.
So is that a problem then? Like, how is that not? At what point does it say that you're in the wrong? Like, I felt that, to be honest. I've, at a point where I'm fighting against these mandates, I'm fighting against these obvious intrusions on my rights. When you do that kind of work, at some point, there's such an overabundance feeling of maybe you're wrong. Maybe everyone else is right and you're just the asshole that doesn't admit that you're wrong. So at what point do you say that you might be wrong? Will you ever concede to that? Because I won't.
No.
But I don't want that to be like a selfish motive of, oh no, I can never be wrong. I want it to be like, no, I know I'm right. Like, I know I'm right. So is there like what basis do you have to say that you're right and you know that there's a fight there?
Yeah, well, when you're fighting for liberty and when you're fighting for the Constitution and when you're fighting for freedom, it's inherently right.
God's darn right.
And so that is that's your baseline right there, right? You're fighting for liberty and you're fighting for the Constitution and you're fighting for freedom. But beyond that, we're going to show in our cases, particularly our federal court, that the science is on our side as well.
You can't say that.
Yeah, well, we're going to try. we're going to lay it out in our pleadings that it's on our side. And we're going to show that the people that are saying no are not kooks that are running around, that these people have a logical and rational reason to say no, and that an executive, the governor, can't force all of these thousands and thousands of healthcare workers. It's, I talk to them every day. I get the calls from the doctors and from the RN. And it goes against everything they've ever been taught: informed consent, anatomy and physiology, natural immunity. You mentioned to earlier. It's like these things don't exist anymore, and it's we're living in the twilight zone.
Well, what I tell myself, and I think other people think this, or at least it goes through in a process of their mind, is that I'm willing to be wrong about the vaccine. I'm willing to put myself out there for freedom to be wrong about the vaccine, but they aren't willing to be wrong. They only accept that they're right. They only accept that this is what I've been told this entire time, and this is how I'm going to stand, and I'm going to fight you to the death, and I'm going to disparage your entire name, and I'm going to make sure that you don't have a livelihood to even feed your kids. That's how much I hate you, because you won't fall in line. And to me, at least, I'm willing to be wrong about the vaccine. I'm willing to put myself out there and say, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and side with science on this one and say that my doctor is saying that I'm a young 39-year-old healthy man. It's very unlikely that anything negative would happen to me. Can you use the fact that there has been a twisting of the numbers against anyone, or is that not fact enough? Is that not real enough?
From our perspective, we have to attack it at so many different levels.
Right.
We're going at it constitutionally, the arbitrary and capricious argument, and then the medicine and the science as well. And the twisting of the numbers is a real thing. I mean, we're gonna point that out on the insane amount of false positives, different things that are happening here. But the fact of the matter is, at the end of the day, people want to get vaccinated. Let them get vaccinated. No one's telling them they can't.
Well, what about people who have already had COVID? Why aren't we saying let's test people for the antibodies?
It's weird. And the doctors I talk to, it goes against everything that they were taught, everything we learned in med school. This idea that natural immunity no longer exists is really weird and foreign to most medical professionals. And you're right. I mean, it's gone. There's no talk of natural immunity. There's no testing of antibodies. It's as if it doesn't exist.
Let me ask you something. Do you think, and I've just kind of observed this when it comes to high profile situations, high profile cases, and the media gets involved and they put their input on things, they put their spin on it, right? And you have situations in the past where people were convicted through the media, right? Do you see that the media is playing a huge role in this situation and is making it hard for, attorneys to push through the misperceptions or the
bullshit?
There you go. The bullshit of, like I said, keep going back to Don punk ass Lemon, but can you bring up Don Lemon and Your Honor, this dude Don Lemon is completely lying with his
Dr. Lemon,
with his colleague Chris, can you bring that up and say, do you believe this, Your Honor?
The media
can you do that?
Is so powerful, in social media is so powerful, and they have the ability to put out a narrative that makes people think they're gonna die. And a lot of people have truly believed that. When you see a person that's on their lawnmower mowing with a mask on, they think they're going to catch COVID and die. And that allows people to do things that are crazy. And that's the root of the problem. Maybe.
I was at a meeting earlier, and it was a city council meeting, and there were people there that their stories, while it is terrible, while I'm empathic about the fact that they've lost people, due to the fact that they died with COVID. You don't see anything talking about the fact that they ate bacon
all day, every day,
all day, drinking freaking whiskey all day, every day.
Yeah.
And the fact that they died with COVID. Austin stares at me over the.
If you look at the facts, the majority of the deaths are in no discounting the people that died. I mean,
and we don't. Again, let's say this overtly.
You have
here.
to do that disclaimer on everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not a Trump supporter. I'm just saying,
Well,
like, you have to do that.
Yeah, like people have
So put it out
died
there,
with COVID.
but the people that have died have been over the age of 65 with an average of 3.8 comorbidities, which is
Right.
what you're alluding to. Is that-
facts.
Let me
Right,
interject.
that's-
Patricia here commented, when people get scared or desperate, they do stupid things.
That's a fact. That's a
a
fact.
fact.
And Cuomo
Put it up.
did do a good job with coming out saying that, you know, we're not welcome here and everything else. Like, listen, Cuomo was the reason why this state was losing residents before COVID, right? So the
Which Cuomo? Because I can
Emmy
I can put
Award-winning
the argument
Cuomo.
that
not
it
the
may have
first
been
Cuomo,
Mario.
not Daddy
Not
Cuomo.
Mario?
We talk about Daddy Cuomo, Andrew Cuomo. You know, the fear porn he was putting out was probably more pornographic than the little secret tapes he probably has with his, you know, Pierce.
won an
nipple
Emmy
rings.
for it.
Pull up the picture.
Yeah.
Pull up what's
You
his
got
name?
the
Picture again.
nipple ring Cuomo.
I don't really have that picture.
I-
No, not that one.
Don't really have that picture.
Not allowed to show that picture.
Right.
No, but you know, just going back, you know, here when everything first went down, a lot of the explanations for the mandates didn't even make sense, because even then there was data showing that you had pre-existing. The majority of people that were dying during that time was dying with, they had pneumonia, heart disease,
Car accident.
you know,
90 plus
that
years
was
old.
later on once they started to get paid for it, right? They saw that
Right.
it was a money grab in that aspect.
People
but-
forget that AOC literally came out and said, if a family member or loved one died, go back to the hospital, have them put it as COVID-19. We'll pay for.
Right.
I think
People
we need to
forgot about
stop
that.
saying her name. We give her
If-
too much credit because she's so dumb. Like, we shouldn't even give her any more like airtime.
Manufactured.
That yeah.
She's not dumb. She's not dumb.
Well, yeah, because all she gotta do is read some note cards, whatever.
Well,
She's got a handler.
she knew what it took to succeed.
Well, what did she do?
She's here. We're
Well,
talking
she
about
had to
her.
Do something.
She's not our. She's
Do you know anybody that really supports
she
her?
had to twerk for somebody to
Good
get that.
Lord.
I've seen that video. I've seen it.
There's no way you've
She
seen
got nothing-
AOC
she got
twerking.
nothing else to offer nobody.
Oh,
other than
yes,
the
I
twerk.
have.
Look, all right.
She's on top of a
So this-
rooftop.
So this is where I'm connecting the other side.
We
here.
ain't get big
Nothing to do
yet.
with that. Good Lord. Good Lord.
Listen, I'm free. I can go off a
You're a free
tangent
man?
sometime. But no, I'm saying I can go off a
Not with
tangent
the
sometime and take a shot with her like that, because she had too much. She has too much of a platform to say some of the dumb shit she says and get away with it. And the fact that we keep putting these people in these positions, and not we, it's the dummies down in New York City that keep voting for her.
Well,
They are dummies. They are. There's no fact.
there
there's
is
no
a
other-
complete takeover of certain states. California. Let's pull up those pictures there, Austin. California is imploding
Yeah.
on itself.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
Imploding on itself. The fact that President Biden, and again, I'm using that word for him
Loosely.
superfluously here. Biden, he will fly to California to campaign for a governor,
Mm.
but he won't show his face at the border of Texas. He's gonna literally come out there and call a black man a clone of Donald Trump
Yeah.
after a white woman in a gorilla mask.
He should have just called
Goes-
him like Step and Fetch It or something, right? Like, he just literally called him Uncle Tom, right? He just did the same thing he did to Charlemagne the God's face and said, if you don't
You
vote
ain't-
for me, you ain't black. I didn't vote for you, bruh. And
Guess
I'm
you ain't
real black. I'm real black.
Well, Larry Elder said it best. He goes, if I was a Democrat, they'd be all about this.
Yeah, of course, right. And what they did to Larry Elder, like I started to follow Larry Elder like just recently, like within this last year, and it had absolutely nothing to do with him being a Republican. It just had everything to do with what he was saying about
Right.
what was going on within the black community. Larry Elder spoke more to the black community issues more than Joe Biden punk has ever did in any soundbite of his whole entire old ass career in politics.
But he has a black vice president.
That she is not black.
See, I
She
can't.
is-
I don't know how to agree
She
with that.
ain't
I can't
black.
agree with
She's
that. How
not
is she
black because her mother's Indian.
I don't.
So then, no.
you-
Listen, here's why. No, this. Well, it depends on whatever state she was born, right? So a lot of states say whatever state you're born in, your mother. It is either your mother or father's.
Okay.
Race is what you take, right? Most of it, and most of the time, it's the mom. But still, the color to me, right? Your color and also how you act and what you do. It like labeling black, whatever race, whatever race identity it is, that doesn't matter to me, right? But to me to say that she's black, how she like, I don't. There's what relation does she have to, the black community?
She put them in jail.
There you go.
Well, you know what color she is? She's transparent.
Oh,
She's been
shit,
just
that's right.
invisible.
Yeah, she. Don't come. Don't come.
Don't come.
Don't come.
Don't come.
Please don't come.
Please don't.
That's not what I hear.
Oh my God.
Canceled.
Cancel. NC-17.
Trying to get it. We wanna get it.
NC-17.
What? I've arrived.
James, did you expect that?
I love
Coming
it.
out
I
today.
love it.
Yeah, man. No, I really, I'm fascinated with law and the argument of law. And the first, rallying point to me was the down in Pennsylvania when they deemed the lockouts unconstitutional.
Mhm.
Given the fact that now, I guess what they say, any court case that's settled across states, it applies all over, right? Is that true? Like, so in this case,
Wait, hold on. Did he answer that?
No, I didn't answer it. You're saying, is a decision that happens in the state of Pennsylvania applicable nationally?
yeah.
It could be, and it could not be. I mean, it depends on the decision. It depends on the court,
Okay.
and it depends on what it hits. Even decisions locally. Typically, a decision that's granted by the court is only applicable to the petitioners or the people that are asking for the relief from the court. But it's possible. I'll give you an example. When we won for the restaurants, we represented 96 restaurants here in Western
Shout
New
out to
York
that one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that opened up the door.
for indoor dining.
Yes.
And we got the
Yes.
decision from Justice Nowak, and he issued the decision to lift the ban on indoor dining.
Mhm.
It was only technically applicable to our 96 restaurants, but
Right.
within 24 hours, Erie County then opened it for the rest of the restaurants in Erie County, and then New York State opened it for every restaurant in New York State. So because as a result of our decision, even though it applied only to those 96
In direct
restaurants-
response to
Mm.
your decision, you guys did that.
Yeah.
absolutely.
That's
Were you
amazing
part of
that,
that-
you guys fought that.
That video, right?
Because no one wants to do that. Because
No.
I'm a part owner in a bar, and the last thing you wanted to do was go up against New York State because they're going to go after your liquor
Everyone was
license.
Everyone was terrified of state liquor authority, and we had some
Yeah.
martyrs. I mean, you remember Santora's or Papa Grandi's or
Mhm.
Don Prescott at Benoit or Don Benoit at Prescott Provisions. They had their license summarily suspended, ripped off their
Right.
walls. We
for
won.
no reason.
We got
Even
them back.
though you won.
Well, we won again. Then we took on the SLA. We took on the state liquor authority, but they were all
messed
terrified of the state liquor authority until they
Because that's
came together.
everything.
Right.
That's where all your money, if you are a bar or if you are a restaurant, half of your money comes from the bar.
Right. Right. So they were all terrified. And a lot of people didn't join our lawsuit for that reason.
Right.
Because they didn't want, they were afraid of the blowback or the ramification or being targeted by the state liquor authority.
They wanted to comply.
By Cuomo.
We took on the
Let's say
state
it,
liquor
by
authority
Cuomo.
and we beat them back too. We
God
won.
Nice.
darn right.
Nice.
Freedom, mother.
I was
truckers.
reading about
freedom.
I swear to God, I was reading about the stuff that was going on in Buffalo. I was like, man, what are we doing over here? There was a video that went viral, and it was a group of business owners. They were having like either a meeting or
the
something
gym,
like that.
right?
Yeah, they were in the gym or something.
Oh, Robbie De Niro
Yeah.
at the
Yeah.
gym. Yeah, yeah.
they came
kicked
in.
the health department out.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
They
kicked them
said
out.
we don't want you
They
here.
kicked them out, man. And I was applauding. I was like, freedom.
Yes.
You know?
that
They
makes
gotta get buffed too, though. Come on.
Yeah,
Right.
that's right.
Well, Buffalo, listen, you are not going to stop
get
folks
buff
in
in Buffalo.
from,
Get buff in
from
Buffalo.
partying, man. The bars don't close until 4. We're still at 2.
But Buffalo
Still trying
Bill
to figure
Stadium
it
now
out.
requires a vaccine
Yeah, that's
to
crazy.
get in.
It's a
Wait,
mess.
do I gotta show it? I gotta show the shot.
You got to show the shot.
You got
You gotta show the Band-Aid.
We did an interview on our
I got
CBS affiliate in Buffalo today. Corey did about that because our phones have been blowing up in the last 24 hours.
Because you can't mess with Bills fans.
No,
No.
no, and they're sick.
They
about it.
are.
sick. About
They're
it.
a effing mafia.
Bills Mafia, and they are ready to go to war.
As they should.
And they're going to fight back. And we've been approached by, I don't know if it's 50 or 100 Bills fans already. The phones are going off the hook, but we've told them that we will. If there's enough people and they want to do something, we'll take
Okay, there you go.
The bear. Keep
they're riled up after that.
Well, it's fantastic. Well, you're talking about a law agency that somehow fought to get the status of we are required to show up to work while everyone else has to work from home.
Yeah, we never shut down for one day ever.
That's
never once.
God bless you.
God bless America.
Yes.
And those who defend our freedoms.
Those who defend our freedom. Man.
Anyone can talk all the junk they want about attorneys and lawyers, but gosh darn it, you guys, man, you're defending our freedoms, and we need companies like Hogan Willig to show up and actually step up.
Yeah.
So I appreciate.
Well, me for one, I'm so happy and privileged because according to President Biden, me being black, I just don't have the resources of finding a good attorney
or an ID.
Never.
Or an ID.
I don't know how to get it.
You don't know how to get one.
No.
Very racist to
I'm
ask.
so stupid.
Is it okay? So let's go with that as well. All right, at some point, are you gonna team up with those who are saying that asking for a COVID vaccine, asking for the proof of that, but not asking for an ID at the voting booth?
Totally different.
Totally
Totally
you are
different?
dang,
No,
you are
not even.
onto something because you
Not
can't.
even a little.
They nearly burnt down Atlanta for not having pizza and water bottles given
Right,
to
waiting
them.
for them.
Right.
What? And I mean, you had what's her name, Stacey
You're on.
Abrams, like fitting pizza. And no, I'm not going to talk about her gap. Let me stop. I'm not even going to mess with her. But anyway,
No, I think Jose, you're dead on. I think there's
Yeah.
the hypocrisy on full display there.
Oh, the hypocrisy throughout
Yeah.
this pandemic, throughout COVID-19 has been on display everywhere. I mean, the hypocrisy is real. I mean, it is whether it's
Double standard.
whether it's the masking. You remember you mentioned Newsom earlier in his masking for everybody, and then he's caught on camera at $1,000 a plate or $10,000 a plate.
Yeah.
No mask, no
No mask, no nothing.
It's
The same day.
It's across the board. I mean,
Yeah.
you mentioned the Bills. I mean, the memes that were going around all week this week were the stadium packed, nobody
Packed.
with masks,
Backs to the brim.
everybody partying, which is great. Let them do that. But then you got these kids in schools,
Yeah, man.
8 hours a day with masks on,
Masks
6 foot.
on.
And now we need 2-year-olds in masks.
Now 2-year-olds. As of today,
Disgusting.
the governor wants 2-year-olds masked.
Did you see that coming with the new incoming governor? Did you see that coming?
I think we were hopeful that she would be. We thought in our mind it would be hard to be worse than the outgoing governor, and she's doing a good job at being as bad or maybe even
Proving
worse.
you wrong.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
proving us wrong. Yes, she's proven us wrong.
she turned a blind eye from all them titties Cuomo was grabbing while he was,
Well, she's
like-
Western New York. Western New York. Yeah, I turned a blind eye to the
That's
city.
nice. Yeah, it's normal.
Bills
Like,
fan?
oh, baby, that's nothing. He just rubbed your stomach.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
that was my boob. Oh, well, get over it.
Yes. Yeah, she's proven to be equally as bad as the last one. It's and we're going after her. She'll be named in our lawsuit.
Get her.
as well.
Get her.
So if someone wants to join a lawsuit,
Yeah.
what are the types of lawsuits that you're looking for? The types of clients or cases that you're looking for?
Sure.
How do they reach out to you?
Easiest way is on the website, HoganWillig.com. We've set up, if you go on the front page, there's a bar.
Show off the shirt so they can know how to spell it.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
the people that listen to me don't know how to spell because they're people of color.
HOGNWI.
They don't know how to get an ID.
We need so much
reading
help, so much
So much.
assistance.
Oh, please. I'm Latino.
These lights are so bright. They're like I can't even think straight.
We've made it very, very easy. There's a little bar on the home screen that says COVID-19 vaccine mandates. If you click on that bar, there's going to be a lot of information. You can call the office at 716-636-7600. And anybody that's fighting against the unlawful mask mandates for their kids, or people that want to stand up to the vaccine mandates that are being rolled out, we're taking them both on.
Gosh,
And we'll bring on everybody that we can. There is really this idea of strength in numbers and power in numbers, and the more people we have, the more likely we are.
and listen, he doesn't do work for free. All right.
No.
So a lot of people will see that you obviously have to pay some money to get in. On
Yeah,
this.
but we've made it very, very, very easy. On the mask mandates, we've capped it at a one-time only fee of $250. Corey is subsidizing 90%
That's it?
of the cost. That's it. He's paying
for an
the
attorney that's going to work like 100
Mm.
hours,
I got my stimulus
thousands of
check.
hours.
thousands of hours. Yo,
And on the vaccine mandate, we've kept it at a one-time fee only of $500. It is not about money. We feel there are grave constitutional issues at stake here. And Corey will tell you that he feels as an attorney and as a law firm, he went to law school for this reason and for this moment. And he has an obligation to defend the Constitution. And this is not about money. We are subsidizing 90% of it. And we are hopeful that we can put an end to this madness.
let me tell you what
Yes.
is about money. Pull up the last article that I have, Austin, on that $3.5 trillion bill that they have going in. Pushback rises as Biden admin seeks to monitor all bank accounts as part of $3.5 trillion package. This could also be big for you because I feel as though this is what I worked for a company before, and I hate to even say this because I love Bank of America. I love them. I really do. But when the January 6th thing happened, they literally went into people's accounts to see who was in DC
What?
and went and told the FBI. The FBI didn't ask for the information. They went into the accounts, found out who was in DC by looking to see who picked an Airbnb, who looked for an airline ticket to go there, who was paying for gas to even be in that area.
Snitches.
They were
and
out-
stitches,
yo.
man.
That's that's not okay. And this is
Like, come on, man.
Who are you coming at though?
Like, yo, nah,
Bank of America?
going right
Yeah, what
at
you
him.
gonna
Yo,
do?
Warren Buffett got a big, huge pie of that.
Warren.
Wait,
Warren
hold
Buffett
on,
got
hold
a
on.
huge
Is
chunk
that-
of BOA.
Is that a civil rights?
I know where his house at in Nebraska.
Issue.
Show right up. Like, yo.
Is that a civil rights issue that may be something in the future if Bank of America were to come in and say, you know what, we gave your information to the government and you were in jail for 3 months because we saw that you paid for a candy bar in Washington, D.C. Is that a civil rights lawsuit? Possibly that Hogan Wheeler might come up? Or is that just not on the radar?
Yeah, it certainly hasn't been on our radar, but it's something that's very, very concerning. You have this presumption of privacy when you have a bank account, that your transactions are private and what you do is private. But as we're learning more and more every day, there is no privacy. There are no rights. It is a very dangerous and slippery slope. All of these things. We've brought up so many powerful points and arguments tonight as to what's going on in this country. And it is a very, very scary time. And it's time for people to stand up and to realize what's going on and to really start to pay attention and speak out. And I feel optimistic that the tide is turning, but there's a long ways to go. People need to really wake up to what's going on in this country. It's very scary.
Because we know what's happening. If we're going to allow the government to look into our bank accounts, that usually means that they're going to start giving you money to stay at home and they want to watch how you spend that money. There's going to be a universal basic income that's going to come down the pipeline.
That's been floated for sure.
Well,
They're going to make sure they've already put in the bill that they can watch how many miles you're driving in your vehicle. So all those toll booths that you just drive right through. Oh, this is so much better. This is cool. This is great.
What are they gonna do with all that information though? Like,
Well, they're hiring 80,000 plus IRS agents.
I saw that.
Jobs.
80,000 plus IRS
what in the
agents.
heck?
If you don't know that is in there, and you don't know, Lavelle, how
First of all, if you
you
go
don't
sign
know
up for
that's in there,
that
that means the
job,
average American that has no idea what the hell is happening.
it's hard for them to fill up half of these jobs. You gonna go? Oh, I can't wait to be an IRS agent. You're
Because guess what?
un-American.
Why would you work for freaking Liberty Mutual or Liberty whatever and be twirling a freaking stick in the middle of the street when you can go work for the government and make 80,000 plus and get a pension and get benefits?
Let me get you, Lavelle. You just said that's un-American. Most people 20 years ago would have took that as an insult. Most people now take that as a compliment.
Yeah, well,
Mm.
yeah,
That's
you're right.
upsetting.
That's upsetting.
Well,
You're right.
after
You're right.
9/11 on 9/12 is when they lifted that flag up at Ground Zero. Nowadays,
21 years ago.
nowadays, if you lift a flag up anywhere, they automatically think you're a racist.
Racist. It's
How
offensive. It's offensive.
how just
Being too free is offensive. Like,
Let's look. If you believe in America, and if you believe in freedoms, and you believe in individual rights, Austin over there making a sound during my ending here, and I know that Kanye West does. And if anyone out there knows Kanye West, I'm still looking for his information
Yeezy.
to get him on this podcast,
Yeezy.
as well as John Leguizamo. I know you're an attorney. You're made of millions of dollars. You got to know these guys because you're going to the Met Gala wearing $30,000 outfits. That's not what's happening. I know. It's
well,
not.
you know,
But
I
if
will-
anyone out there knows Kanye West and John Leguizamo, I'm looking forward to them. I'm gonna have them out here.
My cousin was actually at the Met Gala. Shout out to my cousin.
What?
Yeah, my cousin, Keita Moore, Kill Pretty. He's one of the best makeup artists in the country right now. He was there. He actually did Iman's makeup. If you pull up Iman, she's
No idea
a
who that
Ilman?
Iman.
Elmar Cohen.
No, IMAN, former she was a freaking what's her name? Model. She's one of the greatest models of all time.
Oh, yeah,
Pull her
yeah.
up.
I see her.
No
Yeah.
idea. No idea who you're talking about.
You don't know who Iman is?
No.
She was married to
I'm married to a
Sting,
model.
I think.
I'm married to the most beautiful
No,
woman
no,
in the
not
world.
Sting. She was married to David Bowie.
You like that,
David
James?
Bowie. That's David
I like
Bowie's
that.
old ex-wife. But yeah, he did her
We'll play
makeup.
that on loop.
Yeah, play that on loop for my wife to hear.
And put like this. Yeah, that's her. Yeah, he does her makeup. He was-
Come on, like that ain't. Come on.
yeah, he does her makeup. He does
No, no,
Mariah
no.
Carey makeup.
No. What I'm saying is, look at that picture.
Look at that spacing.
Look at.
I know.
That's like
right?
That's Michael Strahan's.
You
Michael
were supposed to
Strahan's
pull up
seed.
that picture. This is Iman Met Gala 2021.
Right.
Give my cousin some love. There you go, right there. That's her. With the golden whatever.
Peacock.
Yep, he did that. That's her. That's his
That's
work.
what it's called.
I just want to see if she can hop on one leg and woof.
Now I will when I see him, I will ask
Does
him
anyone know
about
what movie that's from? No one. No one knows what movie that's from.
No, what?
Hop on one leg and woof.
Oh, that's Coming to America.
Good Lord! All right,
Bark
thank
like
you.
a dog.
Yeah,
A big dog. Oof. Oof.
Shout out to
Classic.
shout out to the makeup artist.
Yes.
What's the
yes.
name again? Go ahead.
Kill Pretty Keita Moore. Following, he does every. He does
I
Mary
think, you,
J. Blige.
I think you just made
He
him
does
lose.
Mariah Carey.
He might have just lost followers.
No, oh, no,
That's a
no,
Do
no,
you do
no, no.
Kanye's makeup? Is that what we're saying?
Is that where you're going with? Does he know Kanye?
I mean, I'm just saying, man. Connections, man.
Hey, you
Connections
never
make
know.
connections. You never know.
Hey, let's go. I need
I consider myself Kevin Bacon, man. 8 degrees separated from everybody.
the worst actor ever.
It don't matter. He knows everybody in Hollywood. I don't know if
how
that's
you
a
giving me
good
that
thing,
face?
though.
He's a terrible actor. Shout out to
What?
him being in what's the movie with
Footloose.
the two girls? No, I ain't.
Oh no, that was
Wild Things.
Yes, Wild Things.
Wild
That
Things.
wasn't a
James'
Wild-
favorite movie that he watches when he
that
gets
was a good
home.
movie.
It's been many years since I've seen it.
Good for you. Too busy working for our freedoms.
That's right.
Working for our freedoms. I
My man
appreciate
don't
you,
get no
James, very
sleep with
much.
that.
Appreciate Hogan Willard for allowing you to come out here because you had to drive out here to even get here.
Not too far. It was about an hour.
So give your contact information or whatever the contact information is for anyone out there that is also fighting for their freedoms and their liberties who want someone to fight for them. What's a good contact number for them to call?
For sure. 716-636-7600. That'll get you to the office. Also, we've set up an email address that people can send their questions to, vaccine mandates plural at hoganwillig.com, vaccine mandates at hoganwillig.com. And if you go on the website, hoganwillig.com, a lot of information there. We're trying to make it as easy for people. And I can tell you, if you reach out to us, we are being flooded with calls, hundreds a day, literally hundreds. It's not hyperbole, actually hundreds a day. And we will get back to you eventually. So if we don't get back to you right away, we will absolutely get back to you. But certainly if you want to fight against these mandates and what's happening, reach out to us and we'll bring you on board.
You.
And something that I didn't say at the beginning, but you are also representing my mother because she
Beautiful.
works for a company here. I don't know if I should just put them on blast. Jordan Health.
Oh, put them
Too
on.
late.
Jordan
I'm blast.
Health. Right.
Well,
Putting 'em-
you got to put them all on blast. U of R
Gotta.
is terrible too.
But hold on, real quick. Is it the hospital that's at fault for this, or is it New York State?
So technically, it's New York State. I mean, the Department of Health mandate is requiring these hospitals. I mean, I would argue that the hospitals, if they had some intestinal fortitude, could stand up and stand against it. But they're not. So they're blaming it. They're saying, hey, we're just following the mandate. We're following the
All
mandate.
right, so it's on the hospitals. I'm gonna go with that
Well, you
because
think
they
that-
could stand up against it.
Absolutely, they could.
They
And
just
some
refuse
are.
not to.
There
Okay.
is- there
Which
is a-
ones are? Let's give them some shout outs.
Yeah, I know there's
anyone?
one in Cattaraugus County down that stood up. There's
Shout out to Cattaraugus County.
Yeah, there are-
I think Dan knows where that is. His
Yep.
beard says he knows where it is.
there is a
another inch.
small and slow growing resistance, and I think as this moves towards the 27th and this looming deadline with these thousands of employees that are going to be fired, I think you're going to see more and more resistance start to bubble up to the surface
Gosh,
here.
I'm right. Have you seen the protest we've been doing at Strong Memorial
Absolutely.
Hospital? How
And
beautiful is
I'm
that?
told this Monday when the next protest comes, there's
Uh-huh.
going to be somewhere between 1,000 and 1,500 people out
Get
there.
it. Get it. Come out there. Lavelle, I haven't seen you out there yet. I'm gonna
It's
get you out
grown
there.
every week.
Yeah, I was. You know
Every
what?
week it's grown. There's been
There-
more and more.
Hold on. Throw that. There's a tweet out there. They said there's only white people. Only white
that's
people
a
that
lie.
show up to this. That's a
Women?
lie that I know that the media is putting out there. And I called it out. I said, I was there. My family
Wow.
was there. My mother was there. My wife was there. My mother's
Who
husband was
said
there.
that though? Who said that?
The president of City Council. City
Oh,
of
well,
Rochester.
oh my gosh. See,
Mm.
you see when you never mind.
See,
That
we're-
explains it.
There's
First
no
of all,
corruption in the city, is there?
no, well, let's not even talk about Miss Loretta.
So
Let's not do it.
there's
Don't wanna do it.
certainly 100% with absolute certainty there is people of all races, all creeds,
Mm.
all ethnicities that
It's
are
been a
at these-
beautiful display to see those people out there.
Oh my
Men,
God.
women, children. I mean,
I love it.
It's
I
been
love it.
incredible. It's
love
growing
it.
every week.
sure it has.
There'll be over 1,000 people there Monday.
Guaranteed. Guaranteed. If
wait.
you're not part of it,
Who is she blaming though? Who is she blaming?
Probably Trump.
No. Who? No.
Certainly,
No. That's a great question.
Larry
Who
Elder.
in
She's
the
blaming
heck
Larry
is she
Elder.
blaming?
Larry Elder.
Is she blaming the people who organize it or the people who did not show up? See, the only reason why I didn't show up, I was at my 91-year-old aunt's birthday.
Oh, the
get-together.
one that talks
Yes,
truth?
yes.
Yeah,
No.
she don't
She
know
was there, and
So
I was
you'll be there Monday,
I was
though.
talking to her, and
Dang,
she's
how many
definitely
family
down.
members you got above
I got
80-something years
100.
old?
I told you, my
Lord.
103-year-old uncle, my 96-year-old aunt, and my 91-year-old aunt, and my other aunt. She's 88, and she's
Yeah,
the youngest out of the
Lord.
crew.
Let's get him to
So,
sit in for
We were
us.
drinking. We were
Jeez.
taking shots of Glenfiddich.
Oh,
So yeah,
wow,
and that was her request, and I went to go get it for her birthday, and we was sipping
respect.
in her backyard. So and it was we were on Champlain and Jefferson Ave. That's where she lives for
Okay.
years.
Okay.
Okay, in the hood.
Yes.
This is what we
Champlain
do.
and getting footage.
Yes, and we had a great time. So I was there in spirit though, because I'll definitely go to the next one. I don't mind going to a little bit of couple of rallies. I broke up the BLM one before, so
I
that
think
was
the
fun.
hospital's feeling the heat from that too.
I think they are.
should. They
I really
should.
think they are, and they should. You're
Mhm.
exactly right. They should, because how dare you?
right.
How dare
Mhm.
you in the past 18 months when they were there holding our grandparents, our parents, our loved ones' hands as they were dying, and we weren't allowed to come see them and say bye to them, they were the ones there. And we're going to turn our backs on them.
I heard.
Mhm.
I read an incredible quote from a nurse. She put it in front of me the other day on a Zoom call when we were addressing the healthcare workers. She said, last year nurses were depended on to save our lives. This year we're dependent on to save our freedoms.
Oh, love it.
Mhm.
What was the sign I saw? Last year's heroes, this year's unemployed.
Yeah.
Sick.
How
That's
sad is
sick.
that? That's so sad.
That's sick,
So
man.
I'm very, very, very proud to say that Hogan Willig is in town standing up for our rights, our freedoms.
Good luck to your mom
representing-
too, bro.
Amen.
She's just a couple years away from retirement.
Why that you know what? And that's deliberate too, man. They
Man, it's
know.
so messed up.
Yeah. it
So
is.
I appreciate what you guys are doing. I appreciate that you guys are standing up for this. I appreciate that you're making it affordable for people to afford an attorney,
Mm.
because attorneys are not cheap.
Mm.
I know. Trust me, attorneys are not cheap. To even get a piece of paper looked at
Yep.
is $150, $250. So the
Yep.
fact that you're providing your services,
Intense litigation too. I mean, this is intense.
man, good
We're
for you.
going up against a state they have unlimited resources.
That's right.
And,
But you guys are standing up for freedom, and God is behind you.
It's worth it. man.
God is
Amen.
behind you
And
because
great
God
attorneys
believes
is
in
worth it.
freedom. God believes in
Sure.
freedom. So I
Amen.
appreciate everything you're doing throughout your time. Make sure if you run into Kanye West or John Leguizamo, let me know. We're trying to get a hold of them.
I'll let them know.
I appreciate you being here. Thank you very much. Austin, hit that funky music.
Ah.